Now, Mr. Micheal.
Yeah.
That's a very sad story.
Yeah, it's quite terrible. Yes. It's a sad one at that.
Now, you know Victoria Inyama, the Nigerian actress.
Hollywood actress.
Yes, she was popular alongside her colleagues at that time, who still went further, you know, with their acting career, and they made a name. Now, to a large extent, she got married and was living overseas with her husband. Okay. And according to her story, you know, during an interview, she revealed these aspects of the marriage nobody knew about, and it's actually grueling. But what struck me the most was the abuse of the sanctity of marriage. You know, bringing girlfriends home into their matrimonial home. What's your perspective on that, especially with regards to how it affects the spouse, the other spouse, emotionally, mentally, and otherwise?
Well, thank you very much for that question. I would want to attribute this to moral decadence in our society today. As you can see, a lot of family values are swept under the carpet, because most people tend to carry out what they see. They bring in what they see in the social media and the movies to their families, not knowing that a family is a close unit of people who are related by blood, especially the husband and wife coming together through marriage. According to what the Holy Scripture says in the book of Genesis chapter 2 from verse 14, it said that for this reason a man will leave mother and father and cleave with the woman, and they both shall become one. So if there is no living and of mother and father, then they cannot cleave, and if they can't cleave, then they can be one. So the foundation of marriages are really cracky, especially in Africa today. I want to borrow a leaf from what has been happening in the celebrity circle. A lot of celebrity marriages are crashing. If you look at that of Yul Edochie and AY and the rest of them, it's not that these individuals cannot stay together in one piece as a family, but because of what they see, like I say, and a lot of things are being watered in the society today. Things that were abominable, things that the family couldn't take, things that even in-laws could not tolerate before are like the norm in the society now. So everybody wants to move on, and if you permit me, I also say it's also as a result of Western civilization, because in our climes here in Africa, some of these things didn't happen in the last 1 decade, 2 decades. They only started as a result of the millennium, you know, like a transcending of values. You know, when people travel, they're exposed, you know, the comforts and confines of their homes. They access the internet and they watch movies, and this whole thing, you know, keeps occurring every day, and people don't seem to learn from it. So it's really a taboo, so to say, for some of the things we hear in marriages today. And it brings me to the point that the kind of society that we are building, I begin to imagine what we are going to bequeath to our children and the younger generation when they come up. So it's really a problem, and I think something has to be done as a matter of urgency. If not, we're heading for the worst.
When you look at the value system, you know, it appears that usually before people get married, they court. Yeah, they get to know each other better, and then, you know, some things you might not see, your family may see it, and that's the reason why you introduce your intending spouse to your family and all that. You spoke about the family members not being as active as they ought to be. Yes. But on the other hand, we also talk about third-party interference in marriage. How do you marry this? Because in the olden times, before the call westernization, there was a whole lot of third-party interference. But then marriages seemed to last at that point. Exactly. But now we have less third-party interference. Are they correlated?
Well, like I said, if you look at the way the family system is designed, it is such that no marriage can function within in-laws from both parties. The wife goes wrong, she has people she's listening to. The man goes wrong, he has relations and uncles that can call him to order. And right from the beginning, if you remember, when two grown adults express interest to get married, you find out that at the point of introduction, sometimes the family of the bride will send somebody to go to the family of the would-be groom to go and make some kind of investigation to find out if there are certain things that will not make the marriage last. And these things are brought to the fore. Sometimes they are discussed and trashed out. But these days you could find out that two people could just meet on social media, and the next thing they call a group of their friends and they get married. So the days when we had the family interfering, things worked out better, because certain things that could have made the marriage to head to the rocks, family members can come in, parents can come in and address it. And as long as it remained that way, the marriages were lasting. Because, for instance, there could be a thing that there could be some during courtship, there could be certain things that would have ended the relationship. But since these two people are seen as immature in marriage, so to say, because sometimes in most cases they have never been married, these are two young people coming together, they lack experience, they need to court, they need to study each other, know his do's, his don'ts, his likes and all of that. And of course they also need to be able to learn each other's emotion, what the man likes when he will want you to speak, and of course the things that he likes to eat and all of that. So before they get to the point of marriage, courtship is very important, so that as they are courting, they are studying each other. By the time they get to the point of marriage, a lot of these things would have been understood as a mutual agreement that this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I want to do. And then by the time you bring in the third party, which is the family members, sometimes they could go a long way to say, oh, this is my sister, this is exactly what she doesn't like, this is how to follow her, and that my brother, this is also what I think, or what he likes, and this I think. You follow it up. And at some point when they get married, you find out that some parents even go as far as saying, okay, send your wife to stay with me for a week, for one weekend, and then the woman goes back to the husband when they are married, and things begin to work out. And if you look at it, then it was working, because the two parties depended on each other's strengths. They were not looking at their weaknesses. At this point now, it's difficult for couples to sit down and begin to look at the area of strengths that they can tap in, or what they can learn from the other person. They just come in with the mentality of, this is who I am, you can't change me. And then the woman too, some women will come in and say, this is what I like doing, you can't stop me, even though I'm married to you. And as long as that keeps happening, the problems will still come in the marriage.